Hello, it's question and answer day, and this is Brian Rezny, president of Rezny Wealth Management. The question that has come up a few times over, let's say, the last few months or so is, if the economy is doing so well, why are consumers doing so poorly? Or at least that's the feeling of a lot of consumers, that they're really kind of in a negative hole. So generally speaking, the economy is growing. Are consumers feeling good about the overall economy, or maybe more their personal situation? I would argue this. Many consumers are in a bad financial position. If you look at statistical numbers, over 80% of U.S. population has less than $600 saved. 80%. Think about that. So 20% of the people in the U.S. really have all the wealth. If you jump to the next 10%, it's substantially more than that. The problem is consumers don't feel good because, of course, inflation was pretty ugly and pretty aggressive the last year and a half. That is abating, but that doesn't mean prices are coming back to the levels you saw a year and a half ago. It just means year over year the prices are not increasing at a 9% clip. So consumers probably don't feel great because, again, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Why are consumers living paycheck to paycheck? Some is self-inflicted, and I would argue a lot is self-inflicted. I talk about this quite often on my TV and radio shows. How is it self-inflicted? Let's talk about it. You've got a family of four. One of you works, one of you stays home and raises the kids. Your spouse is working, making $80,000 a year. That's a lot of money. But it's not the amount of money you make, it's what you are spending it on. People go out for lunch repeatedly throughout the week, more than they ever did 30 years ago. So instead of bringing a bag of lunch to work every day of the week and spending $1 per lunch, you're now spending $10 or $12 for lunch every single day. Maybe you take your kids to Starbucks once a week for the Frappuccino. Maybe you're getting your nails done once a month. Maybe you're deciding, oh, we're going to take our kids because they deserve to go to Disney once a year. Again, these are things that are very costly and expensive. So our families living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of it has to do with how they spend money. Now, that's not every consumer, but I would say the vast amount of consumers that don't have money are spending money on things that never existed 30 years ago. You really didn't have cable like the way you have it today 30 years ago. People didn't have cell phones realistically the way they do 30 years ago. You didn't have Starbucks everywhere 30 years ago. People weren't getting their nails done 30 years ago. People went on a family vacation once a year for a week at a cabin in the woods. That didn't cost a lot. Now people feel they need to take their kids to Disney World every single year, and it costs you $5 or $10 that goes on the credit card. So again, why do consumers feel poorly? Because probably they're overspending. Everybody wants a better lifestyle than they can afford, and people have been accustomed to watching commercials that get you to spend more money. I'm often asked, Brian, how did you become wealthy? I lived within my means. Maybe I didn't make a lot of money when I first started out, but I still saved my money, and I spent less than I made. Now the key is, it's not what you make, it's what you spend and what you save. Everybody can be wealthy regardless of income. It's the key is how you decide to spend that money and how you decide to blow that money ultimately. If you're not a client of our firm and you're realizing the way your portfolio is being managed isn't being managed at all, and you want real money management, we do manage larger portfolios at Rezny Wealth Management. We are a fee-only fiduciary money manager. We do manage portfolios of $1 million and greater. So if you're unhappy and you're realizing it's time that you look out for yourself, call my office for a consultation to discuss our services. We'd love to help get you back on track. Have a safe and profitable day.